Oh, how funny. I'm too excited. I'm talking to myself, and Giles very kindly pointed out I hadn't actually started the broadcast to everybody. So, hi, here I am. Thanks, Giles, for starting. We're here, and it's the last webinar of 2023, and we're going to see the year out with some festive cheer. Look, and I've got my festive antlers on. There's a Christmas jumper, although you can't see it. I've got lights in the background. Giles has got his festive jumper on. We're all ready to go. So while we wait for everyone else to join, I'm Jo from the Dux-Soup team, from the Dux-Soup marketing team. I co-host these fortnightly sessions with our favourite Dux-Soup LinkedIn expert, our head of professional services, Giles Garnett. This week's session is going to give you all the lowdown you need to get your festive e-cards created and sent out to all of your LinkedIn connections, safe in the knowledge that you have not contributed to the chopping down of 1 million trees. Very sustainable. In today's session, I'm also going to be asking for a bit more input than usual, as we have some of our ever-growing range of coloured caps to give away. Here we go. We've got yellow, we've got blue, and we have the cloud raspberry, which doesn't look so good on my blue background, but you get the gist. So we've got 5 questions coming up at the end of the session today, and the first person to give me the correct answer will win your choice of cap. So while we wait for people to join, perhaps we can do a quick practice. Let's begin. On the question box, if you could just enter a simple yes or no as to whether or not you're an existing Dux-Soup user or not. Fire away. Go on, let's see how many of you are already Dux users and how many of you are new. We pop those in the questions box.
Maybe if you're saying yes or no there, if you're saying yes, then let us know if you're a Turbo, a Cloud or a Pro user. That would be really good.
Yeah, let's do that. How many have we got? Come on, people. Come on, it's Christmas. Yes. Yes. Oh, great. We've got lots of users on here already. Ira is a no, so we're going to try and convert you during the session, Ira. Not officially. Carol, I'm intrigued. Thomas said no.
Maybe she's in the trial.
But there are a lot. We've got Pro, Turbo, yes, Cloud, lots and lots and lots. It's great. Fabulous. It's great to see so many existing users join the session and a few who I think we can try and work on to get you converted. So a quick reminder before we get started, you can use the question box, which you've just been playing with, to put your questions to us as we go through the session. I, as ever, will answer as many as I can, and I'll save the trickiest ones for Giles at the end. So he'll do his bit, then I'll do the quiz questions, and then we'll do the Q&A with all of you guys. So you'll also be sent the recording of this session a bit later today, so keep a lookout for that, because you can then use it as a memory jogger to help you while you're creating your festive greeting. So without further ado, let's ping over to Giles, whichever direction I should be pointing.
Hello.
Head over to Giles and let's find out what we've got in store.
Cool. Thanks, Jo, and hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you wherever you are in the world. And lovely to see lots of familiar faces on familiar names on the attendee list today. And yeah, usual end of year webinar. What we're going to do today, we're going to do a little bit about sending a personalized festive greeting using Dux-Soup Turbo, Pro, or indeed the cloud version. Then Jo's going to be entertaining us with the Dux-Soup Christmas quiz with some amazing prizes, and then of course we'll have time for a Q&A at the end. So while I'm going through the bit at the beginning with regards to the personalized festive greeting, if you've got questions relating to that, chuck them into the questions box. We'll try and answer all of those at the end. I'm going to go through it quite quickly, and there's a very good reason for that. First of all, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, but second of all, we're going to publish a blog post tomorrow, which will I think hopefully later this evening or maybe tomorrow, which will detail everything in fine detail, exactly what you need to do. Hopefully it's fairly intuitive, and yeah, we'll walk through it. Hopefully some of the tools I mentioned will be familiar to you, and we'll go from there, and we'll just sort of give you some guidelines as to how to be as efficient as possible with this. So, sending a festive greeting. We're going to talk through how you can send a personalized festive greeting. And, you know, we're doing this for Christmas, but you could do this at any time of the year with any sort of image. You're going to do it to your existing first degree connections using LinkedIn and Dux-Soup Pro, Turbo, or indeed the Cloud Edition. And I mentioned some freely available tools. And then the blog post will be published shortly as well, taking you through the process step by step. So If there's any questions, those will all be answered in the blog post. So how do we send a personalized message? I'll do a couple of slides and then I'll show you in real life, should we say, exactly how to do it. First of all, we need to find an image. So I've created one actually just using PowerPoint, and then we're going to upload our image to this service. We've got niftyimages.com, and hopefully Joe will put that link into the chat box while I'm talking. It's a way that we can create personalized messages. We can add custom layers within the Nifty Images toolbox. I'm only running a free version of it and it works absolutely perfectly well. That customized layer leads us to be able to put our name or the name of our target in there, should we say. Then we're going to grab the URL and shorten it using tinyurl.com. So it's not a great long URL that takes up a huge amount of space. Then we're going to add the URL and the personalization to your message or your campaign. Message if we're using Pro, campaign if we're using Turbo or Cloud. And then we'll enroll or auto visit our prospects, and it's as easy as that. So there's my image. Don't worry, you'll see all of this in real life in a second. That's the personalization step. That's creating the URL. Then we're going to shorten our URL using tinyurl, and then we're going to add our URL and our customization to either our personalized message or our campaign message. So let's get to it. And if anybody's new to these webinars, this is me on LinkedIn. Feel free to send me a connection request. No problems at all. Mention Dux-Soup in your message because I like interacting with Dux-Soup users. It's always nice to hear from people on LinkedIn who are using Dux-Soup, of course. Right, so I mentioned Nifty Images. This is it, niftyimages.com. I have created this image here using PowerPoint. I created this particular image, and we'll go in there. Let's have a look. So there's my image, and then I've added this merge text layer. I'm sorry, merge block text, and I've given this dynamic text. It's all very intuitive. My fallback text here is friend. I mean, you can actually hide the fallback text if you want. That's in case there's a failure in the message in the text coming through. My design value, I've put Giles, but I could easily put another thing there just so I can see what it looks like. There we go. We've got that all set up there. I can hit preview here to see exactly what it's going to look like. If I've got no text, then it's going to say friend. If I've got some text, then it's going to say, there we go. It'll say whatever the target name is. It will just update that accordingly. We'll close the preview and we'll press the save button. Now, when I press the save button like this, we can then see, hopefully, where'd it go? Where'd it go? There we go. There's my image tag. This is my URL. This is the URL that I need to use in order to get this image to appear. And then here we see the name equals merge tag. So what we need to do now is we take this particular section of this URL, so from the HTTPS all the way through to the question mark. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put that into our tiny URL. I've got, again, a free account here. There's no expense here. I can put my long URL into the I should be able to. Let's copy it. There we go. It helps if you do the copy before you do the paste, doesn't it? Traditionally. Let's do that and let's paste that in there. There we go. Shorten my URL, and it's going to come up with my URL here. Simple as that. And now all I need to do is put that URL here into my message in LinkedIn. Now I've already done that. If I go to LinkedIn, this is my if I'm using Dux-Soup Pro, these are my Dux-Soup options here. We got here festive greetings. There's my URL, and then I've got name equals FN. So name is that variable that comes from the Nifty Studios image. Go back here, see here name equals, and that's the merge tag. So here in my message, I've got name equals _FN_ because that's where Dux-Soup's going to grab that from. And now I can just start visiting my profiles, my first degree contacts, and sending this message. Similarly, if I'm running this in Turbo, I can take this exact same message. We go into Turbo and we go to our campaigns here. There we are, my Christmas first degree campaign. There we go. There's my message, festive greetings. There's my URL, _FN_, and then I'll put Giles at the end. And now it's a case of simply auto-visiting profiles if I'm using Pro, or enrolling prospects if I'm using Turbo. There's a couple of things which I'll note on that in a second, but what I want to do is show you how it looks in real life. If I go to my messaging here, of course, because I was preparing, I sent this message to Joe earlier. So there we are, there's my festive greetings, and it renders correctly. Doesn't do it straight away in LinkedIn. LinkedIn are very suspicious, should we say, of external links, so that it just takes a second or two to render the image correctly. But we can then see here my very simple season greetings from everyone at Dux-Soup, sent to my colleague. I sent it to Vlada as well, who of course is head of our customer support team. So there's my message to Vlada, there's my message to Joe, all using exactly the same methodology as I've walked through there. A couple of things that we need to remember. Let's go back to our slides. There we go. Things to remember. You can send several hundred messages to first degree connections per day. You can edit all of that, of course, through your Dux-Soup options. And if you've got, for example, a Sales Navigator account, you can comfortably send 200, 250, maybe even 300 first degree messages per day. So remember that when you're doing this. If you've got a sizable first degree network and you want to reach out to everybody as quickly as possible, start as soon as possible. If you're using Pro, use the first degree messaging option, which I showed you just now in the Dux-Soup options. Word of advice here as well, if you're using Pro, tag those you send it to and use your skipping rules to ensure you don't send it twice. So let's just show what I mean by that. Here we go, in my Dux-Soup options, there's my message, and while I'm sending it, I'm going to tag them with this Christmas 2023 tag, and then under my skipping options, I'm going to say skip them if they've already got that tag. That way I don't accidentally send my message twice to people, and that's really important because yeah, don't want to look don't want it to look like you're sending this as a spam message. But yeah, the idea is to do this greetings, and I say we are doing this specifically for Christmas, but there's no reason why you couldn't do this for other purposes as well, other marketing purposes, if you've got some other image that you wish to customize. So that's that. Let's pop back here a second. Yeah, so we've got the several hundred messages a day. Pro, use first degree messaging and tag them, and then Turbo and Cloud, just create the campaign and enroll your prospects. And you can do this in regular LinkedIn or Sales Navigator. One thing we do know is if you do it in Sales Navigator, the image doesn't render. Sales Navigator is much more, is less friendly when it comes to rendering those URLs. So if you want it to render correctly, like an image that we saw just now in your mailbox, do it in regular LinkedIn. Even if you've got a Sales Navigator account, I would recommend doing it in regular LinkedIn. Then it actually shows in the mailbox like I showed just now. I think there's quite a lot of questions coming in, so we'll probably answer quite a lot of those at the end. But that's what I wanted to cover. So I think, without further ado, we really should move on to the main event today, which of course is the quiz questions and all those amazing prizes that Joe's going to go through.
I'm enjoying wearing these reindeer antlers, to be honest.
It looks like it looks like the earrings should have bells on them.
Well, they do jangle, but you probably can't hear it.
No.
It's just they're very loud for me. So yeah, more for my benefit and maybe my kids as well. Thank you for that. We do have a few questions. We'll pick up with those at the end. So let's get cracking. I've got a couple of ducks related questions, and I thought I'd kick us off with a bit of a silly. So Giles, would you mind driving still, please?
Yes, I'm in charge, aren't I? I forgot.
Yeah, you are still in charge. You're always in charge. So question 1, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, how tall is the world's tallest cut Christmas tree? So if you pop your answer in the question box, the first person to get it right, or the nearest, then we will be in touch to sort you out with your favourite flavour of cap. I think I like the idea of them being flavoured. So according to the Guinness Book of World Records, how tall is the world's tallest cut Christmas tree?
And get your answers into the question box as quickly as possible. Not too much Googling, people, please. Come on. Phones down.
Got
So we've
some
got
answers.
40 feet, 42 feet, 120 feet, 50.
Any advance? Any advance?
Now I've got no idea here, so yeah. And are we doing this in feet or meters? What's
I would
the?
say Jenny's cheated. Jenny, you may have the right answer, but I think you've gone on to Google. So we'll stop it there, and I will assess the others based on what they've put prior to that. I would then say probably Dara is probably the closest. So the world's tallest Christmas tree.
Shall I click on?
Yeah, you can click on, was 67.36 meters, which is 221 feet. It was a Douglas fir. It was erected and decorated at Northgate Shopping Centre in Seattle, in Washington, and that was back in December 1950. So that was a bit of a silly. I thought I'd add that one in there. So I'm just going to write Dara's details down, who was the closest guess prior to people jumping onto Google, I would say.
We'll be emailing people after the webinar to follow up with regards to these prizes and get your details accordingly.
So question number 2. Which email automation partner did Dux-Soup integrate with this year? So we like to make it as easy as possible for you to drive revenue from LinkedIn by integrating with as many of your favorite tools as we can do. So which email automation partner did Dux-Soup integrate with this year?
You could actually put this the other way, in which email automation partner integrated with Dux-Soup this year, because actually a lot of the development was done on their side. So yeah, it was actually their initiation that they chose Dux-Soup to integrate with, which I think is a real compliment to the Dux-Soup product in many ways. So I think that's really good.
So our integration partners include organizations to help you build LinkedIn lists, to import them into your CRM systems, help you with your LinkedIn drip campaigns, and basically do lots of cross-referencing between your CRM and whichever particular tool that you're using with Dux-Soup. And
we've got a correct answer there already.
Oh, have we? I'm not scrolling down quickly enough.
We have indeed.
Call it out.
Parnell's got it.
Parnell, good. That was very speedy.
It was.
Parnell, congratulations. Cap on its way to you. As Giles said, we'll be in touch at the end of the session and we'll get the details for which flavour you'd like. So Woodpecker's integration with Dux-Soup launched in April this year. It allows you to create single workflows that combine email outreach and LinkedIn outreach so that your efforts are joined up. And Giles took part in a Woodpecker webinar earlier this year where Dux and Woodpecker talked about the email and LinkedIn automation sequence to improve your sales process. I am just going to post in the chat the link to the webinar. If I can click on it, there we go. There's the link to the Woodpecker webinar that Giles did.
We're looking at as well in the new year having a follow-up webinar with the Woodpecker team as well. We're in regular contact with them as to how things are evolving, and especially now that we've released the cloud version as well, and looking how that impacts things as well going forward, and always looking to refine and improve that integration as well.
Fab. So I've just popped in the chat there the link to the webinar, the link to our blog post that we did about it as well, and just the generic link to our web page about all of our other integrations. Obviously, we've got Pipedrive integrated with them, HubSpot, Simplify, Zapier.
HubSpot. Zapier and Make as well.
And congrats to Parnell. Right then, let's move on to question 3. Name one obvious advantage to using Dux-Soup Cloud Edition. Name one obvious advantage to using Dux-Soup Cloud Edition. Let me get the questions box open. So Dux-Soup Cloud Edition was launched last month in response to user requests and feedback, and it's already proving to be a big hit. We're seeing some really good feedback already from our early adopters, and if you're one of them, why don't you give us a shout as well? Because we're always keen to hear from people who are using the tools to give us some. Oh, I'm checking. I'm going to keep the browser open.
We've got some good answers in already.
some good answers in already.
Skip, I think, there is one of the very obvious ones at the very top there.
Yeah. So the answers that we've got, so yep, skipping, it's always on. So I think the biggest two that struck me were the always on feature. So it's working 24/7. So, you know, depending on how you work, how much time you spend away from your desk, you know, if you go to meetings, you can keep it going, shut your laptop down, go away, do your stuff, come back, and it's carried on working in the background for you. And of course, it's always it's hosted on our infrastructure as well, so it takes away a lot of the kind of IT calamities that can exist if you're running these things at yourself. So who are we saying? Let's have a look. Not having to keep your browser open, I think, was the first.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Skip. Yeah, Skip, you're it. Well done.
So one use case which I came across last week when I was speaking to a regular user, actually, who's been using Turbo for a long time and is about to jump over to cloud, is they're off traveling in January for a number of weeks, and so what they can do, what they will be doing, is rather than sort of thinking about, oh well, I need to leave a device running at home in order for Dux-Soup to carry on being busy, they're going to have everything running in the cloud. They're going to enroll a couple of thousand people into their various campaigns that they're running, because they run outreach for new connections and they run first degree campaigns as well, first degree nurture campaigns, shall we say. So they can queue all of that up on the cloud and just leave it. They'll periodically check in and make sure everything is going through and check the responses, of course, but essentially they can continue with their lead generation activities even while they're off globetrotting or whatever it is they may be doing during the month of January. So yeah, that's a really big advantage there.
Sounds like someone I should speak to. Perhaps they can come on a webinar.
It's somebody you've spoken to before, Jo.
Oh, damn it.
And in fact, somebody who's presented for us in the past.
Oh, I think I probably know who it is. Fab. So I've just popped in there a couple of links to our cloud pricing plan and our cloud blog. So if you've got any queries about that or you want to know a little bit more about it, then there's a little bit of light reading there for you. Let's move on to question 4, please. So this is the penultimate question. How much commission can you earn from the sale of an annual plan in your first year as a Dux-Soup affiliate? So if you're a Dux-Soup affiliate, how much commission can you earn from the sale of an annual plan in your first year? Answers on a postcard. No, don't put them on a postcard, take ages.
Showing your age there, but you have to enter a quiz by
So if you love Dux-Soup as much as we do, then why not get rewarded for recommending it to your network? As a Dux-Soup affiliate, you can track sales and commission in your personal dashboard. You get VIP assistance whenever you need it as well. That's obviously Dux related, not just everything. And you also get a dedicated affiliate manager, which is really super handy, and no fail.
Is it a dollar figure or is it a percentage that you're looking for here, Jo?
It's a percentage. What did I say? What did I say?
You didn't say, so I was just sort of clarifying.
Yeah, a percentage would make more sense because it's going to be a commission based on your sales. So
Okay.
yeah, and we have answers already in. I think Paul, you were the first. Paul P, you were the first there with the answer, which is 50% commission in your first year. You can get your paws on. So it's 50% commission the first year, which drops down to 20% commission in years 2 and 3 if you've sold annual plans. And if you manage to sell some monthly plans, then it's 50% commission on your first month and 20% commission for the following months up to a year. So that's that. Let me send you a few affiliate details. So I've spotted there's quite a few people. We were looking at affiliate numbers earlier today. And there we go, affiliate details. Let me put those in there. It's definitely one. I think there's quite a few people out there who haven't really considered the fact that they like the tool, they recommend it to friends, or colleagues, clients, their network, and their colleagues, clients network will go and take a look, give it a free trial and sign up, and then there's a missed opportunity. So there's a little bit of information there about becoming an affiliate, which means exactly this. You don't pay to be an affiliate, you just work around promoting it a little bit, promoting Dux-Soup, talking to your own clients and network about it, and you can be earning without really doing an awful lot. So obviously it helps if you use and love the tool, and if you do, then why not shout about it? So what did we say there? Let's have a look.
You said Paul.
Paul, thank you. I haven't written his name down. I have now. Thank you, Paul. And the last and final question from me then. Which of our guest webinars this year has received the most views? So I've listed them all down there. So we had 7 guest webinars this year. Tracy Enos, Gaurav Sharma, Michael Simpson, Scott Wright, Elvin Mutasamy, Tyrone Giuliani, and David Ticini. Which of our guest webinars this year has received the most views? Most of you will know we regularly release case studies, blog material, and obviously we do these fortnightly webinars, and we're constantly on the lookout for people willing to share their stories or provide insight into how they use Dux-Soup to achieve their goals or overcome certain challenges. So we had 7 guests last year talking about everything from how to create the perfect LinkedIn profile to how to analyze LinkedIn data to improve connection results. Let me have a look then, see if anyone has come in.
So several of those speakers are repeat offenders, should we say? But some of them are new as well. So I think David, Elvin, and Michael were all first timers, and I think the others, Tracy, Gaurav, Scott, and Tyrone, have presented for us before.
Yeah, Tracy hasn't. Tracy's first gig was this year. Okay. Gaurav had been on with us before. Michael was new. Scott was a repeat offender.
A returning.
Tyrone was returning, and David was new. And let me have a look at this list then. So far,
apparently we don't have the right answer.
Because we haven't got the right answer yet.
You're gonna have to keep guessing, people, I'm afraid, because no one's got the answer yet, and there's a hat that needs to be sent to somebody.
Yeah, come on, blue, yellow, or raspberry. Here we go. I don't know if you can even see those. Let me see. Here we go, sort of.
Yeah, we can see them. That's quite a look, Joe.
It's a bit of a throwback to some kind of 80s. No, we've still not got the right answer.
You've not got the right answer.
If this was you, okay, think about it yourself. What do you think would float your boat in terms of all of this? So we've got how to create your perfect LinkedIn profile, how to create a winning sales outreach strategy, the long-term LinkedIn nurture strategy that increases sales, new tech stack that makes sales teams 4 times more effective, 4 LinkedIn lessons to optimize your campaign strategy, LinkedIn groups and 4 steps to unlocking high intent leads, and how to get 20 leads a day. Which of those titles do you think might float your boat the most? We still haven't had the right answer. This is really
not got the right answer, no. That's quite a surprise. I'm quite surprised about that, but I also think it's testimony to the fact that the person who we're talking about here was also has a very large network as well, and promoted amongst their network. We had a very big audience come to that particular presentation.
Yeah, we did. So I don't know if you guys on the call have been in all of these sessions. Let's have a think. Which one resonated with you the most, Giles? We do have a right answer.
They've already won something.
They have already won something. Keep trying, everybody. Paul, you got the right answer. Well done. Tell a friend.
Now I have to say, actually, a couple of these webinars I wasn't around for because they were done when I was away. But I have watched them all. I have to say that the one I always enjoyed Tyrone's content, and that's not to detract from anybody of any of these people at all. Tyrone's very engaging, Scott as well. I had the pleasure of actually meeting Scott earlier this year as well, which was fantastic. Spending some time with him and understanding what was going on with AMPT. Gaurav as well has presented for us before, and yeah, I've spent quite a lot of time speaking with him. Michael as well, Elvin absolutely as well, and I've had some interactions with Elvin on LinkedIn relatively recently as well, and of course David and Tracy as well. I've got to mention them all. Still, one person has mentioned the person who had the biggest audience, but they've already won something. No, yeah, it's one of those things. We could be here for some time, Joe.
Could be here for some time. Now, the person, what I will say, it won't necessarily help anyone, but the person who has received the most views this year is returning on February the 6th. So this person will be kickstarting our guest list. Oh, here we go.
Andy.
This is in Andy. Andy, well done, finally. So the answer, which will surprise all of you, because only 2 of you got it, was Tracy. So Tracy Enos talked about how to create the perfect LinkedIn profile, and she did that back in January. So she's going to come back on with us in February the 6th. And it'll be probably something fairly similar. But I think probably the reason why it's been the most viewed is because it's quite, obviously a lot of what we do is very Dux-Soup specific, and she had some great content around Dux-Soup and how she uses it. We had a case study from Tracy as well, which complemented the webinar really nicely. But I think this is a more, dare I say it, generic piece of content. So, you know, I think we all need help from time to time with our LinkedIn profile. You know, we're all guilty every now and again of putting a picture up there from when we were on holiday and it doesn't look quite as professional as it should do, or we've got a background that's got nothing to do with telling anyone what our role is and what we do in the world. So I think that's probably why it's been so key, actually. Because it
and I don't know if other people and anybody else on this webinar is connected to Tracy or follows her on LinkedIn. She gets a lot of the information, the sort of preview information as to what's coming development wise on the LinkedIn side. So she's often sharing information around that as well. So she's right at the cutting edge of what's happening on the LinkedIn platform, which is really, really interesting. Gives us good insights as well, gives everybody really good insights as to what you can do. For example, the creator mode or whatever, the developer mode and that kind of stuff. Those kinds of things on LinkedIn, where we're seeing evolution of how you can present your profile and stuff like that. So yeah, really, if you don't follow her, then follow her on LinkedIn and you'll see some interesting stuff.
So let me just share with you the webinar, Tracy Enos webinar. I don't, unfortunately, have the webinar set up yet, so I can't send you the link to, what am I trying to say?
The registration link for the forthcoming webinar that Tracy will present will be available very, very soon, hopefully at the beginning of the new year.
Thanks very much, Giles. My multitasking skills lacking again. And don't forget, if you didn't manage to win yourself a cap, if you were not Dara, Parnell, Skip, Paul or Andy, and you didn't manage to grab yourself a cap today, you can do that by reviewing Dux-Soup, if you use Dux-Soup, on G2, and I'll just pop that link in here as well. So if you review us and you pop today's date in there, then we will be in touch with you to send you a lovely cap as well. So let's go to the questions from today. Let me have a look. We had a couple. We've got to get through this stuff now. So a question from George. He asked, will the URL show the imaging both on LinkedIn and Sales Navigator messages? So you touched on this, Giles, didn't you, and suggested that on Sales Nav it'll look a bit pants.
Basically, yeah. Let's show you how it looks, shall we? Hopefully, let's come out there. There we go. If I go into sales, let's go to my messaging here. So this is how it looks on regular LinkedIn. If I go to my Sales Navigator mailbox, we can see I sent it to one of my colleagues here on Sales Navigator too. It looks just like a URL. So you can see it's not rendering that image correctly. So we can therefore assume that the best place to do this is regular LinkedIn.
Okay, fabulous.
Because we want it to look like that, not just like a URL.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the answer there then, do it through your regular cheapskate LinkedIn.
The free version, standard LinkedIn, the standard LinkedIn, because actually, just to point out, it's just a standard interface. You could be paying for Sales Navigator, but you still have access to that standard interface. You could be paying for Recruiter, you still have access to that user that standard interface, and that standard interface is common to everybody, whether they have a paid account or a free account.
Yeah, fabulous, thank you. The next question is from Jenny. Can I send greeting cards to all users in one hit, or do I need to send it one by one? Now, I don't know whether Jenny is a pro or a turbo or cloud user.
We'll illustrate both then. So if I want to send this to my first degree connections and I've got regular LinkedIn and I've got pro or turbo, if I've got pro, let's say if I've got pro. So what I can do then, so maybe I want to, let's go to my network here. What I've got here, excellent, got some connection requests from people who are on the call. Excellent, always good to hear from you. These are my connections. These are my connections on LinkedIn. I've got 3,600, but I'm never going to be able to see 3,600 because that's the way that LinkedIn is. So what I would do is I would go here and I'd say search with filters. So here we are. I've got 3,500 or so here, first degree connections. Maybe I would then break this down by location. So I don't know, let's take people who are based in London. There we go. Show my results here. There we are. I've got 211 people who are based in London. That would be a good starting point to send out my message to. What I'm waiting for now is the Dux-Soup icon in the top right hand corner to turn green. There we go. That means the Dux-Soup has recognized what's on the page as a list that I can auto visit or enroll people against. So if I've got pro, my chosen option now would be I'd go up to my Dux-Soup options here and I would put my message in here, send my personalized message to first degree connections using regular LinkedIn or Sales Navigator. There's my message. I'm adding my tag down here as well. And then I'm skipping anyone who's already got that tag so I don't double message people. And then under my throttling settings, I'm saying here, I want to send up to 200 of these per day. So that's because I've got a Sales Navigator account. I'm going to say, right, let's send 200 a day. I go back to my list here and I say to Dux-Soup, right, go and visit profiles. Dux-Soup will start at the top of this list. It'll open each profile in turn, tag them and send the message, and then move on to the next one. And yeah, I've got 211 here, so I'll get most of these out today if I'm sending 200 messages out today. This tab needs to remain open. I can't minimize the tab, otherwise Dux-Soup will snooze. But that's how I would do it using Pro. If I'm using Turbo, again, I can do it very similar thing. I would go and create my campaign. I've got here my festive greetings with my message here, my simple campaign, which is my Christmas 2023 first degree campaign here. These are first degree contacts. All I would need to do then, well, let's do it actually. Let's do enroll profiles. I'm going to choose the appropriate campaign. There you are, Christmas 2023. And then I want to say, right, I want to enroll, yeah, maybe I want to enroll 200, but just for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to enroll 15. There we go. I'm going to enroll 15 people. Dux-Soup's now going to reload this page and it's going to enroll the first 15 people that haven't gone into this campaign before. I can't put somebody in the same campaign twice. What we'll see in a second is a little dialogue saying enrolling, 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 enrolling. And we'll just leave this to run for a second. And it always takes longer when you're doing it live. I think it's a scientifically proven fact. We've tested it repeatedly over the last 4 years of Dux-Soup webinars. So there we are. Now Dux-Soup is scrolling down and we're going to get the dialogue in a second saying enrolling, enrolling, enrolling. There we go. Cued the enroll. That's all happening now. And that's all going to happen accordingly. If I go to my Dux dash here now and I look at my queued activity, this is applicable for both Turbo and Cloud. We can see here, there we are, there's my enrollments all queued up for those people. There you are, my Christmas 2023. Let's just narrow it down to just Christmas 2023. There we go. There's my actions there, which are occurring there. And we can see there, it's just opened a profile to carry out that enrollment action accordingly. And that will then queue up my message to go to to that gentleman there at the top of the page. If I refresh that, what we should see now is as that completes, it will then queue up the message to go to them. It's as simple as that.
Fabulous, which I think has then also answered Jenny's question in repeating how to send them.
Cool.
Let's have a look. I think, let's have a look. How do you become an affiliate partner? I've answered that one. What happens if we enroll all our first degree contacts without filtering them? And we have thousands. That's from Elena.
It depends on how many messages you send out per day as to whether they all get them before Christmas. You can't enroll somebody twice into the same campaign, so you're not going to be repeatedly pestering the same people if you use the enrollment action. What we do know is if you've got a Sales Navigator account, you can send upwards of 200 direct messages per day. So, you know, over time, I would, you know, you can go from 200 to maybe next week 250 per day, the week after maybe 300 per day. I wouldn't do massive step changes. I wouldn't go in and try and send 500 messages a day straight off the bat, because I think you would probably come unstuck if you tried doing that. And I mean, messaging your first degree prospects, if you've got a paid LinkedIn account, is a very low risk activity, but just be careful. You know, you don't want to spam. You don't want people to start labeling you as spam, as creating spam. So yeah, just do it respectfully, and yeah, it should work absolutely perfectly. We had a lot of very positive feedback from doing this last year, which is why we repeated the exercise this year as well, hopefully with a little bit more detail. And as I say, the upcoming blog post to complement that. So what we can see here, for example, just to backtrack there, I've queued up these enrollments, and we can then see in an hour's time, as per my campaign, in 1 hour's time, this message is going to get sent out to these people. If I refresh this, I can then see, yeah, there's a couple of those messages queued up there already to go to Sam and so forth. So that's all now occurring as required.
Perfect. I've spotted someone in that list that I used to work with. How funny. Right,
well,
then.
I've spotted quite a few people I've spoken to on support calls, on sales calls, on demo calls, and on booster calls. So hello to everybody who I've spoken to before. I can't go through everybody's name. Oh, hi, Lizette.
How funny. Let me just check. I think that was the last of our questions. Oh no, we've had a few others come in. Great. Jenny, thank you so much for your demo. I'm still not able to follow. We have Turbo account, so it's great if you can send me the tutorial link. That will be sent out to you a little bit later today, okay? In terms of this, now if you've got issues in terms of Turbo, then we've got the tutorials. If you go to...
Oh, sorry, do you want me to go back to somewhere? I was just going to answer a question from Jenny. Is there any limitation of using free nifty images, e.g. maximum 100 cards? I believe it's the total number of opens that is the limitation. So you can see here, I've got a trial account. I've got all of the facilities. My free plan limit is 10,000 opens. So my free account, I've got so far I've used 139. I've not used this in anger, so I've not sent it out to lots of people, but with nifty images, it's the number of times the image gets opened is the limitation on there.
Fab. And it's the same Jenny as well who's asking about the Turbo. I think the best thing you can do, Jenny, is if you go to our YouTube channel, you can look at easy tutorials, and that will go through certain aspects of Turbo. If you're asking related to this particular content, then you'll get the recording in a few hours. So I hope that answers one, if not both.
Or indeed reach out to our support team who are available here.
Also.
Where we have the live chat, and I'm going to sling that link into the chat box now. There's a live chat option here, and the team on our support desk will be able to walk you through the process as well. They're very familiar with it.
That's fab, thank you. And we've also had a question from, I'm going to say Zillard. Apologies if that's not the right pronunciation. Will the images that you've shown on here also be available in a mobile app? So if someone gets that message in a mobile, will they be able to see it? Are you going to check?
To be honest, Joe, I think you could answer that question. You got the message from me earlier, didn't you?
Very true.
I'm going to check on the mobile app now while we're talking.
Let's both do it. You can do it quick enough.
Yes, it is. It's visible on the mobile app. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, perfect. Yes, it is. And sure enough, yes, it is. There we go. Brilliant. So that's the last of our questions, I think, from our audience, which is all good. So I think if we maybe, what's the next slide? I've lost my screen slightly. There you go, the support services slide. I'll let you talk to that one, Giles.
Yeah, if you've got problems, if you're stuck, then we offer support calls if you've got problems. We also do paid consultation sessions, and if you've got team accounts, if you reach out to our support team, then we can also arrange what we call our high flyer calls as well. We do 30-minute, 1-hour ones, whatever you require. And also, if you're a new user, or if you're looking to try Dux-Soup, we can also arrange demo calls as well. So if you need like a 20-minute demo, we can talk you through all of the functionality of Pro, Turbo, and Cloud if you so desire. All of the calls, if you required, are recorded, so you can have access to that recording, so you can go back, check it. You don't need to make notes all the way through. There's no exam, there's no test, there's no certification. It's purely a case of sharing as much information with you through these sessions as possible, so that you can get best use out of the tool.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And the next one, so obviously we're not going to be holding a webinar in 2 weeks' time, because that would just be silly. We'd probably be the only people on it. So we're going to hold the next one on the 9th of January. So we could be
eating turkey sandwiches.
we'll give you a week's grace into Christmas. So we're back on Tuesday the 9th of January with a session to kickstart 2024 by pulling in 100 new LinkedIn connections a week. We're going to be going through all the tips and tricks that we've had from our top 10 LinkedIn experts. So it's not one to miss. It'll be a good session to get you back in your lead generation groove after eating too many, well, just generally just eating too much, if you're like me. And possibly drinking a bit too much as well. But hey, that's what it's all about, I think. Maybe not.
Cool.
And I think that's me done. Other than
have you put the link for the registration link for this into the chat, Joe?
I'm so glad you're on board here, there, Giles. There we go. So the registration link I've just put in the chat. So
it's also on the website as well.
Yeah. If you want to register now before you turn your laptops off and forget all about lead gen until next year, then
what do you mean they'll turn the laptops off and Cloud will keep working for them?
Yeah, as long as you've got it ready. Yeah. So feel free. Obviously, as Giles said, it's on the website as well, but there's the link there if you want to just do it now before you finish the webinar. Other than that, it's Merry Christmas from me, and it's Merry Christmas from him.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year. Enjoy the festive period, however you may celebrate it with your loved ones and your family. And yeah, we'll speak to you all next year.
Yeah, have a fab time. Happy festive season, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.